Hello and welcome back to another episode of FPL Journey to 10K, the podcasting series which helps you get into the mind of one of the greatest players of all time. That is, of course, my host, Mr. Matt Corbidge. Just to give those stats as I do every week, Matt, just to show you off. In the 8th season, Matt has played the game. He's never finished lower than the 25,000 mark. He's finished in the top 10,000 6 times. And he kept this very quiet from me. I only found out because I was watching an FPL Focal video from about 10 months ago. But at the time, Matt, you were ranked the #1 FPL player on the planet. How on earth has this never come up? And secondly, hope you had a great Christmas, mate. Great to see you. Did you get anything good?
And you as well, yeah. I think I was a good boy, so I got everything I wanted. So yeah, had a
Nice.
good little break. Feel a bit rusty now. Feels like we've how many
Yeah.
game weeks we missed? It's just the one.
Just the one.
Just
Just
the
the one.
one.
Just game week 19, which will. But we both got green arrows in. So
Well,
that's a
so
plus.
so far, so far, but like it's a little bit different now. We're actually streaming as there's two games playing live, right? So if I'm glancing down to my left hand side, that's me looking at my iPad watching the Spurs Brighton game, which yeah, sad news for Poro owners so far. But
Two
I'm
goals
not going
already
to
for
gloat too
Brighton.
much because we know he can score. Well, he hasn't scored a goal yet, but we know he's got an attack in return.
The, the stats say one's coming.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, good to be back, and yeah, hope you had a good Christmas as well, mate.
Yeah, no coal for me. Like standard sort of stuff when you're in your mid-30s. Underwear, did get some gaming headphones, which is pretty cool, and a coat which I needed desperately. So yeah, nice. Just good to spend it with the family. But former world #1, Matt. How was that? How has that never come up?
I guess it's a geeky definition of world #1, right? So if you told your mate down the pub, they think you would be #1 in a given game week over the 10 million players we got. I think my #1 ranking was a geeky thing. I think it was one of the Hall of Fame type things. I think early last season I had a good start, so I was ranked there up until about December time of last year. So yeah, how these things move quick, right? These things move fast. I think I'm probably about in that rank. I think I'm about 50th now. So yeah, things move quick.
Yeah,
So yeah,
take it though. Don't underplay it. Don't underplay that. Like your mates wouldn't be impressed. I know what you mean though. It's
because like yeah, I mean, Focal who you did the video, you probably saw an older video. Like I was a bit embarrassed when he was kind of like labeling it like that. But obviously a bit clickbaity, but a little bit based on truth. He was actually #1 in the world for a couple of game weeks, 2 seasons
yeah,
ago, I think. Right, so
yeah.
yeah, that's what I think about #1. Or do you like your cricket? Do you like cricket?
Well, cricket used to play a little bit,
Yeah, fair. So you know Stuart
not
Broad,
well.
right? Yeah, you
Yeah.
obviously So I think he actually finished a game week. He was ranked 1 in the world for a single game week. So yeah, he's an FPL
Wow.
player, and like yeah, he was I think it was like either last year or the year before, like I don't know, game week 30 or whatnot. I think he did like a bench boost and was
Top rank.
ranked #1 in the world, right? So normally it's a random team who's just like making a
Yeah.
team for a single game week, right? And they're just going completely random. But yeah, Stuart Broad was a ex world #1 for one game week as well. So
I always love looking at that, the game week rank, and seeing somebody with like the top score, 120 points,
yeah,
and then you look at their total score, 120 points. And you're like, you can't
yeah.
even win. You can't win the prize on your first week. What do you not understand? Um, but yeah, that's. But don't downplay it. You were #1 in the world based on your average ranks, right? Which
Yeah.
shows consistency, not just a one-off, not a one-off thing. So don't downplay it. But let's see how we got on. Let's see how we got on. Bring up the so far game week 19. It was a green arrow that we both got in game week 18, and currently both on green arrows with players to go, which is including that Spurs game that you're watching. So yeah, feel free to start us off, Matt. You've jumped a
Yeah.
good 500,000 since we last spoke, I think.
Yeah. So I'm in 6 digits now, sub 1 million, which is good. So yeah, sitting at just under 900k. So that's looking good. That's progress. I think going into game week 8, which was the wild card week, I was at over 5 million in rank. So I've slow and steady, but yeah, I've had a few good weeks over the Christmas and December period, which is rare for me. So that a nice change. Yeah, the move I made last game week was I got rid of Simicast for Trent, which obviously happy with the return. Like that was crazy. So Trent, like he got a yellow card, which we know really harms people in the bonus, but he still ended up with 3 bonus points, right? Which is pretty incredible. So coming out with 8 points from that match is a really nice return. The reason why I went in Trent is, and I didn't go in for him earlier, is before I was like, I'm in an eye, when is Haaland coming back? So I'm spending a bit of Haaland money there. So by going Trent, that was meaning that I was committing that I couldn't get Haaland in for one free transfer next game week. I just think because he wasn't in the squad and there was no pictures of him training, he's not. We now know he's going to be out of game week 20, but like we didn't know this news at the time. I just thought like the turnaround is so quickly, he's going to be at the bench at that. So like let's bring in Trent for that upside against two decent games for him really, in Burnley and then kind of Newcastle at home. So happy with those returns, and he's been great really. I think like the last couple of game weeks, like the run since like game week 10, I think he's been averaging expected points per game of like 7, right? So like a return of some sort every single game. So that's the underlying stats, and he's been overperforming those underlying stats. But he's been great, and I have to admit I overlooked him. So happy that better late than never. So got Trent, and he got the 8 points. Dubravka in goals, obviously nothing, but whatever. We're used to that and accustomed to that with keepers. So got the double Arsenal defence with Gabriel and Saliba to go. And then midfield, obviously Richarlison and Son are currently playing at the moment. Both haven't scored, but Son is looking quite wide. I don't think he's looking the most threatening. But like Richarlison's getting into some good positions. So we'll see what happens there. Salah blanked. I think I'm not going to look into that too much. On another day, he could have got a goal or an attacking return at least, and he was by far the best captain. Darwin scored only for 8 points, right? He scored and got his 2 bonus, but I'm kind of happy with those 8 points. Unfortunately, the people you're trying to match him against, so Alvarez got 8 points as well, and I think we'll talk about Alvarez later, but obviously now he's been suddenly spoken of as a great asset because of the Haaland news, and he got his pen, but I think he was without a goal in 10 game weeks, right? So let's temper that enthusiasm a little bit. But Darwin, a return is a return, so happy with that. Watkins blanked Solanke with 6 points. So all in all, okay. My game weeks are going to be determined on whether Pedro Porro or Udogie get a return. Thinking Brighton just scored a third, but it was offside. But obviously the Spurs defense aren't trending towards that. But also I'm without Saka, so Saka's my big threat. I think around my rank he's got like a 70% plus ownership. So we'll see what happens. But I posted a tweet the other day, kind of making fun a little bit in jest, right? Because I know he gets assists, but his expected goal stats the last 10 plus game weeks have been really bad. Really, really poor. So he's been lucky to get the returns he's got. So we'll see if he suddenly goes mad against West Ham. But I think it looks like Ødegaard is the midfielder of choice at the moment. So Saka will be what determines whether I got a good green arrow or not. But so far so good, trending upwards. So I can't complain. But you made an interesting move, didn't you? So you brought in.
Brought in the City man. You know what it was, and I don't know why. I was pre-planning. I did what I did early on in the season when I got cash. I needed to play for certain game weeks. Game weeks of 2022 and 24. And City are playing Sheffield United at home, Burnley at home, and somebody else. I think it's Everton at home. But anyway, they're at home all 3 games. Sheffield United and Burnley, no offence, but I don't expect them to score in those games. Everton, maybe. Everton a good side, but the other 2 seem pretty solid clean sheets. He's played 90 minutes of every game so far this season. Stones was back, which worried me. Pep Roulette worried me. And I've been speaking for weeks about my defence problems. Having Cash never guaranteed to start. Lascelles, who got injured but was also about to get dropped anyway. And then I decided to play the Pep Roulette game by bringing in Walker. Stones is now injured, so that should assure me some minutes from Walker, which is good. But it wasn't for this game. I just preferred him over Taylor, and Cash obviously was banned. So that's why he's on the pitch. It's really for the next couple of weeks when he's got Sheffield United at home and Burnley at home. I was just trying to I suppose beat people to it, if you know what I mean. Nobody really has City defenders, so I thought if I get on him early. My
Yeah.
other options, just to kind of put it into context, which Colwill, who ended up with 1 point, and Pinnock, who ended up with 0 points. So for me, Walker was the obvious pick. My only worry was, out of those three, my only worry was his guaranteed minutes. But he played the 90. Now Stones is injured. I think he will continue to play the 90. So we'll see how he gets on. Hopefully, but yeah, Lascelles obviously wasn't in the team at all. So it
And
was a
why
move
not
that
Trent?
needed to be
Was that
done.
could you not afford Trent?
I was playing the not if I wanted to get Haaland,
Okay, fair enough.
basically. Yeah, it would have took 3 million out, which would have snookered my Haaland move.
You know,
And
listen,
from a
obviously Trent is better than Walker in isolation, of course, but he costs so much more. So I get the logic. I think really getting a Man City. We'll see if Walker's nailed. Right, there's always that kind of like worry around kind of Manchester City kind of like rotation, but bringing in a Man City defender is not a bad bet given their run, and also they've got the most games in hand, right?
yeah,
They've got probably 2 game weeks coming up, double game weeks coming up in the next 10, right? So whilst those games haven't been announced, you kind of want to make your moves with that in mind. The teams that have games out, so the likes of Man City, the likes of Brentford, the likes of Luton, Bournemouth, all these guys, we know they've got at least one game week coming up pretty soon. So yeah, medium term it could work out for you.
yeah. I'll be disappointed if he doesn't keep a clean sheet against Sheffield United because that's the short term why I've gotten. But the rest of the
Mm.
team's pretty similar to yours. The only difference is I don't have Gordon. I've got Saka instead. So I'm sorry, Matt, but I hope he does haul. But I've not been happy with him. He's not really doing much for me of late. The data suggests he's not, but
Yeah.
I've got the fires. We'll discuss throughout this. Son and Salah are about to disappear. We both have them, so they're going to be at the forefront of our minds when it comes to doing transfers. But yeah, 26 points so far, 5 to play. 4 the same as you: Saliba, Gabriel, Son, and Richarlison, and then I've also got Saka to go. I'm up to 825. I'm only 3 points ahead of you, plus Saka's points. So probably 5 points ahead of you when they concede. So hey,
Yeah,
you've
it's nice.
caught. I was your first name.
No, it's getting close. It's getting close. Obviously, the turning was you getting rid of Solanke for Darwin for a hit, right, and getting rid of Son. But yeah, we're both trending upwards, albeit with small
That's
green
it.
arrows. I
That's
think
it.
this game week has been it's one where engaged players have definitely moved ahead of those that aren't, right? Because I don't know about you, but I've been looking at mini leagues. I've been looking at my cup opponents as well. And there's just like loads of injured players. Like Haaland's like the captain for loads of people, so people don't know there's. I forgets this period. They forget what day of the week it is, right? So people haven't got time for FPL, right? So yeah, engaged players can make the moves and go up the ranks, which has happened for us. But yeah, satisfactory week so far, and hopefully we'll both end up on green arrows. I mean, yeah, it could have been more. I think Watkins actually scored a goal. I don't know if you saw that, but like, yeah, they're
He
kind of like,
scored.
yeah, the first Villa goal. I don't know who it was. Who it was? I think it was McGinn. It was a McGinn cross, I think, and then yeah, it was definitely going. Yeah, it was a cross into the box, and Watkins came off his knee or his shin, and it definitely moved in, but it was put down as a McGinn goal. So that was a little bit unlucky, but yeah,
Oh, and it
it's all
hit him.
good. Yeah, when you slow it down, the ball definitely changes like the trajectory. But hey,
Wow.
those little small things. I think as well. I'm just gonna go in there as well. That Alvarez penalty was lucky. We've seen lots of those ones not be
Yeah.
called. So yeah.
Yeah. There is, and do you remember, was it a couple of years ago when Harry Kane got given a goal and he didn't touch the ball?
Well, there was that, and there was the famous Bruno Fernandes ghost assist where he was miles away from it.
Yeah.
um,
Just give
I
him,
think he like
just give him
dummied
it.
it, and,
Why
and
not?
they class it as a back heel. So yeah, these things happen with fantasy. And like, don't get me started on fantasy assists. should just be opta assists, right? Rather than these like weird things where if you're taking a shot and then it's deflected. That was like Archer, so he was quite highly owned at this game week, right? Because of people having to use their benches. He got an assist and it was a shot that then was deflected and then bounced and bobbled around, and then he still got an assist from it. I reckon getting rid of those dubious assists would just make it a lot clearer. But hey, it gives us a point. It gives you a chance to gloat if you're benefiting from it. It gives you a chance to moan and say you're unlucky, like us.
Yeah, absolutely. Moan it is. Talking points from the last couple of game weeks. I think for everybody, or most people, captains have been dreadful of late. I don't think I've had a return from a captain since for 4 weeks, and that was because my vice captain was Salah and my captain was Haaland, and he didn't play. That was the last time I got a return. So, I mean, do you read into that at all, Matt, or is it just what happens? And does this happen every season where you just go through like 3, 4, 5 game weeks, captain does nothing, but you stick with the sensible picks regardless?
Yeah, of course. Anyone who went without Salah is done, right? Let's be honest. Well, not done. They've come out right, but they got lucky. You got to play your odds, right? And I think he's probably the person with the best goal scoring odds, best team against kind of a weaker team going into this game week. And his underlying performance was good. João Pedro's just missed a 1-on-1 with Vicario. Oof, that would have been nice. Because you want 4 goals from the 4, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm not endorsing gambling, but I might have put a bet on plus 3.5 goals and over. So I'd like 2 more goals in that game, please. Keep me posted.
Very open. Like Romero's out, who's their best defender, of course. So they're playing Emerson Royale as a centre back with Ben Davis,
who also used to play left back. So that's not ideal. Is Dyer on the bench? Dyer must be sat there like, I'm a centre back. Why am I not on the bench? Who did? Richarlison? Yeah. Okay, it's coming. I've noted Nunes finally scores. Great for us. 8 points for him. 2 bonus after the goal. His expected goal data, Matt, 0.09.
Well, these things even out, right? It was a tougher chance than usual that he got. That was good. Good little effort by Richarlison. But Nunes scored. The thing is, Alvarez matched him, right? So I think a lot of people have got Alvarez or Nunes. So Alvarez got his penalty, and I think Pickford. It wasn't a great penalty. Pickford nearly got it. So it's been a long wait. Nunes has been a really bad option. It's kind of weird, like when you're probably thinking, like when you're looking to get Haaland back in, or indeed Alvarez, right, for next game week. Nunes is the obvious option out. However, could be the bad time to get rid of him, right? Because obviously Salah is going to AFCON. I know Jota's back, but I think Nunes gives a different types of players. So his minutes might be pretty secure, and he may be on penalties, but he scored, but it's only 8 points, right? It'd be nice for him to get like a double-digit return at least. But, hey, a return is a return. So
that's it. We'll take it. I think he is still a sell to me. I appreciate Sal's going away, but he never plays right wing, Nunes. So it's not a like for like. He won't be put on the right wing instead of Salah. We'll probably move Soboslai there or Elliott there. That's the problem with our front 5: Gakpo, Diaz, Nunes, and Jota. None of them play right wing. So I still feel it's 2 of the 4 that'll get a start. So maybe 3 of the 4, but 1 in as a behind the striker. So we'll see. Yeah, I'm getting rid of him because I don't want to get rid of Watkins and Solanke. Simple as that. And Hodgland, that's how I always get laughed at for how I pronounce his name. Is it Hodgland? Is that how you pronounce it? But he scored as well. First time in the Premier League after about 15 games. So well done to him. Do you see United as options at all?
Only Bruno Fernandes when he starts playing a bit more forward. His underlying stats have been good, and he plays every single. I think he's one of the best players. He's a top 5 player in the league. Honestly, he is. He's created the most chances in the league this year, and he's there or thereabouts every single year. So it's unfortunate for him that he's playing for United. Right, I think he could play for and improve all the teams in the league. you'd want to see a little bit more from Fernandez, but he's an option. Right, when we got some cash, when Son and Salah are out, he's an option for sure that I'm considering. But yeah, Bruno Fernandes or bust really for me.
Yeah, I think not Ganacho as an enabler, a 4.9.
Well, the thing is, like we said this before, is that like there's always hype, right? United have had a good half, not even a game, a good half. They were awful in the first half against Villa. And yeah, they just their players get hyped like no one else. Like, so you'd want to see a little bit more from him. He's a decent enabler, but let's see.
See what else. Yeah. No, I get that.
Is he guaranteed to play every game? Do you know what I mean? Is he right?
Yeah, so, he has been. But I mean, he's so yeah. So in one half he scored 2. Prior to that, I think he'd only scored 2 for the rest of the games he'd played combined. So I get what you're saying. I mentioned Nkunku.
Yeah.
He came off the bench and scored. He had 32 minutes he played against Luton, I think. Was it Luton? Yeah, and then he had no. It was Palace. He played 32 minutes against Palace. One of the other when he scored, expected goal data of 0.82. So I'm like, this guy could be an enabler, and not an enabler. He could be an option up front, especially when he's playing with Sterling, he's playing with Palmer. Then he played 70 minutes in their recent game against Palace. Expected goal involvement of 0.16. So not quite as good. But again, he didn't have Sterling to feed him. He didn't have Palmer. Like, what are you kind of said at the beginning of the season, these new strikers, you don't jump on them because you're more of a, let's see how you adapt to the league. Is that your thoughts with Nkunku? I've just heard a lot of noise about him.
Yeah, no, it's a wait and see. I think for a couple of reasons. One, there's better striker options. You have Alvarez, you have Haaland, you have Solanke, you have Watkins. You have Wood. if you want to go in that direction, but yeah, I think there's better options for sure than Nkunku, right? And we've seen Jackson put up great stats this year as well, and not get successful. So you want to see a run of games. Want to see who takes a penalty, right? As well. Like we still think it's Palmer. Obviously, he was he was banned, right? So he didn't take the penalty on the week last game week. So yeah, I think there's just better options at the moment. Really, I won't be in a rush again at Nkunku. No.
Yeah. That's yeah. I think with Palmer, I'll probably leave him. But Newcastle, right? Newcastle defense declining. Just got some stats to back this up. So this, and I feel it's the Pope effect because Pope's been out for 5 games. Newcastle have lost 4 of them, and they have in 3 of those they have had expected goals conceded data of over 3. So just to read them off over the last 4 games: 1.88, 3.88, 3.23, 2.49 expected goals conceded. So it's nearly 2 every game. Some get a 3, and as I say, 3 in the last 5. It's over 3.
It's been bad. Yeah, I mean, Pope is part of it, right? But I think it's generally the fatigue of the squad. We spoke about that anyway before, right? Like when I got rid of Gordon, I was saying like I'm looking at their incoming fixtures and there's massive congestion. There's going to be a decline there, but I got rid of him at a bad time and then brought him back at a bad time, right? But we spoke about fixture congestion before, so I think it's fatigue. They have the biggest congestion of like all teams, and they just had a tremendous amount of injuries, right? Their defense has been threadbare, right? They've had to play Livramento, they've had to play the Shells. I reckon like the likes of the Shells have been carrying injuries as well. Shah has been like he's missed minutes, right? Botman's missed minutes. They all have, right? So yeah, like but yeah, those stats are quite stark, right? It's not like they've been conceding goals and they've been unlucky. It's game week after game week they've been put really bad defensive numbers, and that's surprising because like we've been used to them for about a season now being the top 3 defense up there with Arsenal and Man City. So it's surprising, right?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. It's I'm just so they were back. Obviously, their mainline defense, not without Pope, played against Forest, and they just their expected goals conceded So those numbers I've just read out, by the way, that's just for away games.
Mhm.
So I just in case we get anybody complaining, to say that data was wrong that Dave gave. It was just away games. But against Forest, just at the weekend, they had expected goal conceded of 3.46.
Yeah, it's bad, bad, bad,
Now,
bad.
no, and that was with their starting four defenders. Now, no disrespect, but Forest aren't that good, and Chris Wood isn't that good. Like that crazy. So we were both considering at one point a potential Newcastle
Hmm.
double up. Dubravka defend. Is that a dodge now?
Um, yes, but like because I want to be prioritizing my transfers in the premium positions, I've got the best defense you can have
Yeah,
at the moment as well. I've got Trent in the Arsenal double up, right? So I don't need
yeah,
a defender, right? So I'm sorted for the medium term. I want to be prioritizing those premium positions, and also when I do bring players in that aren't like premium players, I want to be focusing on those with double game weeks coming up.
yeah,
And
yeah,
nothing's been announced. You've got to play a smart game there, but like you bringing in Walker is a smart play versus bringing in Fabian Sharp, for example, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I think Newcastle defense. Let's see if it's a long term thing, but like it's Pope being out. They've been playing Miley in midfield, right? Rather than
yeah.
I think it's been a long time since they had both Bruno and Joe Linton playing in midfield, which makes a big difference, right? Um, I reckon they'll get back to being pretty solid now.
Yeah.
The fixtures season after the Liverpool game, I think that'll still be a good defense. Yeah. I mean,
Fair enough. So
Dubravka, right?
ones to keep an eye on.
Dubravka, obviously, he's still in until Pope's there. I mean, who would you be considering if like Pope was coming back next game week? He's not. But if he was, let's play a game. Who would you be considering as a goalkeeper?
If I'm selling Dubravka,
Hmm.
it's
Unlimited price.
4.5 or below.
No,
Is
unlimited
what?
price for argument's sake. Let's say you've got.
Unlimited price range.
Yeah.
Liverpool have been impressing me defensively. I don't like spending that much on a keeper, but if I'm spending any amount, I'd consider Allison.
Okay.
But I'm one of those players. I think slightly different to you, Matt. I like a rotating keeper option,
Oh yeah.
which is why I've got Areola and Dubravka because they trade nicely. I
Nice.
appreciate you. You're more of a set and forget.
Um. Well, we both got Areola who plays right. He's back in now,
Yeah,
and he got a clean sheet
yeah,
last game week, and let's hope he gets one against Arsenal. 0-0 will be a great,
yeah.
great. Yeah.
2-0 Arsenal, Saka double. That's fine.
Um, who did you bench by the way out of because you got the double up, haven't you? Who did you bench last week? Did you get Gabriel for his 10 points, or did you get Saliba for his man of the match performance, but 2 points?
Let's not talk about that, Matt.
Yeah. Well, I went Saliba as well, which was based on just minutes, right? So he's had better
Yeah,
underlying stats, better bonus, and yeah. Unfortunately, Gabriel got his bullet header that has been we've been waiting for like all year. Oh,
yeah.
there we
Something
are.
happened.
West Ham squad. Suchek.
Did they?
Uh,
And that's the Arsenal clean sheet gone.
I mean, you're not helping yourself, are you? Because like Arsenal, and it's the same with Man City. They find a way to concede.
All the time.
They let no
All the
chances
time.
in, and then they concede. That was bad defending by Arsenal, though. I think it was Saka's fault ultimately because it came in from his wing.
It's a good job he does. I mean, I suppose he'll lose a point. Right, we'll move on
That's
to
bad.
fixtures. We'll see who's on top of the tickers. And it's Man City. So this is
Yeah,
the defense one. And as I mentioned, the games that I bought Walker in for 20, 22, 24. The other one's not great, but they're at home, so we'll see how they do. But it was that Sheffield United and Burnley one. But then looking down the list, Luton, Villa, Brighton, Spurs, West Ham, Palace, Arsenal, Fulham, and Chelsea. Anybody jumping out at you? Anybody you're considering? I appreciate you've got your Trent and your two Arsenal, but is there anybody else that you'd look at?
well, I'm not enjoying owning two Arsenal, but the stats say they're the best defense by some margin. Right? So double Arsenal defense owners can consider themselves unlucky, right? So I'm still happy with that. Yeah, so I'm happy with Trent and double Arsenal. I'm happy with Taylor as a 90-minute man, as a 3.8 million option that I've got as my last defender. I don't like having cash, but I think I've got other priorities. But Gusto's an interesting option for Chelsea. Now that Reece James is out for the considerable future. Oh, the goal might be disallowed. But yeah, Gusto's an interesting option. The problem here is, like, other than Man City and Arsenal, they're not great defenses, right? So I think a few people got Conser from a Villa point of view. Nice, like if you're playing the fixtures, there's a Burnley fixture and a Sheffield United fixture. Brighton, I don't think you really go for their defence. Spurs, Porro's interesting from an attacking point of view, but they are really bad defensively. I was fuming the other game week when he came. I think it was game week 18. He came away with 9 points, and like Spurs put up expected goals conceded of 3. We've seen already 2 goals conceded to Brighton. That they ain't a great defense. Neither are the West Ham. So yeah, really, like the Man City players, like I think Walker's the pick actually, with Stones being out. So nicely played there. The Arsenal defense, where a lot of people already in, and then outside pick. Yeah, kind of Villa defender for rotation. Gusto from Chelsea from a rotation point of view as well. Yeah.
Has it been given that goal?
Now they're checking to see if it's out of play. It looks tight.
I believe it's a Bowen assist, annoyingly.
Man.
I think he's the one that it's the pass. I've not got it on. But
No,
VAR will
like,
check whether the ball went out of play before Bowen reached it.
I think it's out actually. Yeah.
Keep us updated. But there you go. It's Man City are also top of the attack. Interesting. So I know that sounds stupid because it's like, well, if you're top of one, you should be top of the other. But this doesn't usually happen when it comes to these tickers. But obviously, City being the best in the league makes sense when they've got the fixtures right. So we're going to probably talk. It's been given on it. I just saw the look on your face.
Yeah, I mean, I just kicking myself that I went Gordon over Bowen a few weeks ago. I think Bowen's probably the best midfielder in the game at the moment, and he's, as we can see, West Ham attacking point of view, they got great fixtures for the next 6 as well.
Yeah.
I've got a dead option in kind of Gordon, so oh well. Like some of these things in fantasy, you can get lucky and unlucky, but you also make your own luck. So I've made plenty of some big bad decisions and some like smaller bad decisions, but that's an example of a bad decision, not bringing in Bowen when I had the opportunity. Yeah, he's been great.
On that, so you obviously you've got Gordon, and you can obviously you've got a transfer this week that you can use. Have you got the money in the bank to get from Gordon to Bowen? Would you consider it? If not, why not?
I can get anyone. I've got all my Haaland cash, so I can go almost anywhere. But I think Bowen will be coming in probably game week 21. He'll be a Salah Son replacement for sure. I think everyone else will do that as well, so his ownership will skyrocket. But yeah, again, better late than never. But yeah, the time to bring him in was probably a few game weeks ago. But yeah, great player, always involved in me. But yeah, looking at this, obviously, this is a bit more interesting, right? So because teams that are good at attacking actually have good fixtures. So Man City's a really interesting one with Haaland being out. Let's assume he's out game week 20 and maybe 21. I think most people will be making a move. My route at the moment is thinking about game week 22 as the route back into Haaland. But yeah, there's value to be had a short term if you pick the right option, whether that's Alvarez, Foden, Bernardo Silva, right? That Sheffield United game is pretty ripe. Brighton, I think Gross is an option. Like he's on all the set pieces for an attacking team. So I think Gross is a nice option. We've mentioned about Bowen. Bowen's probably the best midfield pick in the game, full stop now, with Son and Salah being out shortly. So I'm pretty sure, game week 21, amongst active players, his ownership will be over half for sure. Spurs, obviously Son is out. So I think Richarlison, Kulusevski, particularly Richarlison, the option. So I think we're happy that we both got him. Man United's as a Salah Son replacement, I think Bruno Fernandes is always interesting. I think he's playing deep. His underlying stats are okay, but he's playing a lot. He's playing deeper at the moment, so That's a bit of a concern. Newcastle, someone like me who's got Gordon, I'm gonna try to ride the wave, and yeah, game week 20 to 22, a bit of a write off, but then he's got some nice fixtures game week 23 to 25. Yeah, like Palace, Elise seems to be option over Eze. I know I was a big fan of Eze, but Elise may be on penalties now. He's got, since he's come back into the team, he's had returns in most games. I think we've both gone for him as a differential pick in some game week, right? So yeah, he's interesting. So yeah, Liverpool and Villa as well. So like, yeah, if you got like a Watkins, he seems to be a hold as well. Liverpool, Darwin, is he a hold or not? Probably not. But yeah, like there's a wealth of options now and then in terms of attackers. So
Yeah.
take your pick, really. Take your pick. Go for someone who's on set
Yeah.
pieces and is nailed in those attacks, and you should get some returns.
Yeah. You kind of, most of the players you mentioned happen to be midfielders, which is lucky because the next part that we're going to discuss is who you are looking at as those replacements for Son and Salah. Now, I should ask, is your plan to sell both? That you're looking to sell one? Are you going to bench them? Where's your head at? And I suppose, more importantly, why?
Yeah, I'm currently looking to sell both because I think I'm just playing the odds. I think they're both missing at least 3 game weeks. If I'm playing the odds in terms of how those teams are going to progress, they could be out until game week 25, right? But I think, yeah, game week 23, 24 is probably game week 24 is probably the likely return. So yeah, I'm quite happy to kind of like run with them out. And I think Son, I don't think is a great long term option actually.
Yeah.
I think especially with Richardson's back playing as the 9, and there's value to be had elsewhere over Son. I think Salah, you want Salah whenever he's playing. But yeah, I'm thinking of getting rid of both of them. I think for me, it's Bowen is clear. He's playing Sheffield United away, game week 21, so Bowen is definitely coming in. If I do have 2 free transfers, it'll be Bowen plus one other. And the people I'm thinking of include Saka. I know I'm hating on him as well, but he is a 90-minute man for Arsenal who have good fixtures and could be on penalties. But yeah, Saka or Odegaard, for the same reasons, and Odegaard's underlying stats are better than Saka's at the moment. Other options I'm considering, depending on double game week news, could be Foden, could be Bernardo. Yeah, I think yeah, those are the kind of the options really. I don't need to go down to a cheaper option, so I don't need to bring in an Elise or a Gross. So I think yeah, for me it's Bowen and then a Manchester City midfielder or an Arsenal midfielder.
That's where you're looking, yeah. Now, I should point out, so the people that are watching this, that's the data in front of you is the top 10 players from game week 13 to 18. I've done 13 to 18. I've not included game week 19 because Son hadn't played and the Arsenal boys hadn't played, so I didn't want to include that. But this data will also not include an extra game for Man City, who obviously missed game week 18.
Yeah.
So that might be why they're not there. Obviously, we're losing the top 2 mids in terms of form. Son and Salah are top of that. Kudos over Bowen. I've also made a note. You can ignore that, Matt, because I forgot that Kudos is off to AFCON as well. So
yeah.
Kudos's underlying stats is better than Bowen's, but Bowen will continue to play in the Premier League for game weeks 21 onwards. So you can scrap that one. It does. Yeah, nice to see them on the pitch. But would you sell Son? I mean, you've got Richarlison already, so maybe that's the answer to that one. But would you sell Salah to any of the Liverpool mints, or would you sell Son to any Tottenham mints other than Richarlison?
Diaz's underlying stats are rubbish, right? Jota is Jota classed as a midfielder? I think he is.
He wasn't last season. Did he get moved back? I'll check for you.
Well, Jota could be an option, but I think you want guaranteed minutes, don't you? You're getting rid of 2 90-minute men in Son and Salah on penalties, so you want to try and get as close to that as possible. So, yeah, the rest of the Liverpool midfield ain't great.
Yeah,
like the next best
Jota is it.
Sorry.
Yeah, Jota's a mid.
Yeah. he's a punt. He could be an exciting punt, and I think 2 seasons ago, last AFCON, he was going quite wild, right, when Salah was out. So he's got form for doing this. But again, you've highlighted earlier, there'll still be 4 options for those 3 positions. I mean, it's a bit of a risky move, right? I don't think Jota would be on pens. Like it'd be Slobozai or Nunes
Nunes.
would be on pens. So I think he's a bit too risky for me, really. So the next best option for Liverpool is Trent after Salah, right? So luckily I'm already there, but I know it's a bit of a reach for others. So I wouldn't consider another Liverpool mid really. Jota at the stretch, and then at Spurs, I think Richarlison's probably clear after Son, and then Kulusevski is the next one. I know he's getting some good stats the last couple of game weeks, but nothing inspiring over a Bowen or an Arsenal mid. I don't think.
So Bowen plus an Arsenal or a City.
Yep.
Game
week, double game week dependent, but like the City selections play into that as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is the stats. Now, I appreciate Fix haven't updated because Salah and Son are top. Ignore that because they'll get zeros 21, 22, 23, and maybe beyond. Arsenal-wise, you kind of touched on this already. Arsenal are on there. Saka's in 4th. Odegaard's in 3rd. And going back to the top 10 data, Odegaard is in the top 10. He's 7th. Saka doesn't appear. Is he a better pick at the minute?
I think so.
Yeah, he's got the better, the underlying stats are there, right? To say he's playing better. Don't know what's happening with Saka. Would you consider going straight to KDB? Because obviously you can sell Salah for anyone. KDB is an option. If a double game week is announced, would you go there, or would you rather go for? You mentioned Foden and Silva.
Probably not, because I don't going to see much of him. You'd want to see him like start a game or 2 in succession, right? To kind of like you don't want him to be eased back in. So game week 20, I think he's going to be on the bench. I would be very surprised to see him start. Game week 21, he may start, but then there's a bit of a punt, right? There's a bit of a punt when because you want your players starting every game week, right? Because like Salah and Son are only out for 3 game weeks, so you want to maximize that benefit, right? So De Bruyne, I think, is a little bit too early, and also for me, this is team dependent. It means that it's a little bit more difficult to bring in Haaland. So if I'm bringing Haaland, I want to probably bring him in for Nunes, right? So I think if I get any of those other options right, then I can bring him in game week 22.
Yeah, with you.
Like,
and if I was
De Bruyne,
forcing you, you'd add, it's an extra 3 million, right? But if I'm forcing your hand, which City option would you pick?
Foden.
I've been stung by Foden so many times in this game.
Everyone has right. It's probably Bernardo is the best option, right? Given like he's been playing great. I think he's probably one of the top scoring midfielders in the last couple of game weeks. He's been really. You picked him as a differential, and most weeks I picked him. What with you and I got 13 points this game week from him as a differential, right?
Spoilers, Matt. We're coming on to that.
Oh right. Well, I didn't say nothing, but I think
no.
I think Foden, which may be foolish, but he's playing in the middle now. He's not playing on the wing, so he's not really. Well, the question is he occupying De Bruyne's position? I guess.
Potentially, and he scored against Everton, but it was a thunderbolt. Not one that he's going to score week in, week out. Same with Bernardo Silva. To be fair, his was a mistake by Pickford, was it? Kind of kicked the ball right at him, and he just lobbed him. So got his goal, but again, one that he's not going to see week in, week out. But it's an interesting one. If I was to forge hand from an Arsenal midfielder point of view, Saka or Odegaard?
That's a really 50-50. That's a really 50-50 decision. I'd love to have a penalty come about and Odegaard take it. I don't.
Decision made.
That would be the dream. That would be the dream. If I went Saka, I think it would be me playing the game of being fearful of effective ownership. The thing is, like, every game week, I've run a risk for like 10 game weeks not having Saka. I've not been fearful at all because he's not been doing nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I went Saka, it'd be me. I feel like me being a bit scared of effective ownership or seeing something in his underlying performance that means he's going to suddenly be great. But he's been off it for ages. So
Yeah.
the guy at the
Yeah.
moment, but it's a close one. It's a close one.
So if you were doing it today, it'd be Son, Salah out, Odegaard, Foden in. If you were doing it today,
Well, it'd
appreciate
be
you've got a
Bowen.
week.
It'd
You can think
be
about this.
Bowen, and then one of Odegaard, Saka,
Bowen,
or
obviously
Foden.
Bowen, obviously Bowen,
Yeah.
Bowen, and one of them, Odegaard or Foden. Okay, there you go. But Bowen's a definite. And maybe it's expected data. He's got some nice fixtures 20, 21, 22. That's interesting. 21, 5.1. So his most expected points are in the game week prior to when people will probably bring him in. Is there anything to be
Well,
said to kind of jump? Liverpool are playing Newcastle.
no. Well,
Generally not easy, although we've just slated their defence.
I mean, look at Salah and Son's expected. This is a real dilemma of people on the game week 20 wildcard as well. So this was like the last game week people could play it, and it's like you have to get rid of Salah and Son, wouldn't you? Like,
Yeah.
and which is
6.1
smart
and
when
7
they're playing.
expected.
Yeah, they're the top expected point scorers. So yeah, it's a bit of a shame you're missing a good fixture for Bowen, but like he's got plenty of good ones coming up as well. But
Yeah.
he'll be able
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
make amends. So yeah, I think for me, yeah, the smart decision is rolling my transfer and then moving those two midfielders on for like a really nice heavy hitting options.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
Well, let's touch on captain options as we always do.
Mm-hmm.
Couple of obvious standout choices likely. So you're looking, let me ignore Haaland at the top. We did appreciate this table would have been before Pep said what he said about him coming back in January. But you've got Son, who's top with 7, Salah second 6.1. Again, you can ignore De Bruyne, but then Watkins in third. Now, game wise, every single one of them plays at home. Son's at home to Bournemouth, Salah's at home to Newcastle, Watkins at home to Burnley. Are you looking outside those three at all, or are they the big three for you this week?
Obviously, this is the options according to Fix, and Haaland shouldn't be there. I think with Haaland being out, Alvarez is probably the best option. When we know he's on penalties now, he took a penalty, a bad one. I have to admit, it's a bad penalty that he took, but he scored it, so I doubt he'll be.
Yeah.
I doubt he will be taken off them. And he's on most set pieces at the moment. So Alvarez, I think, is the best captain in isolation, right? So yeah, I think he'd be top of this ticker. I'd probably put Salah above Son just because I don't think Bournemouth are that bad. They've been on. I know they've had some easy fixtures, but they're on a good run and they haven't been any mugs from a defensive point of view. Newcastle have been, like as you said, they've been really bad. But let's see if the six days worth of rest makes them better. At the moment, I'm on Salah, but yeah, like Watkins has a good fixture as well, so I think it's close. But if you've got Alvarez, he is the best option in isolation.
Yeah. And would you? I'd say, have you got any thought of bringing Alvarez in?
If I had 2 free transfers, I'd move Nunez to Alvarez with no regrets. I'm toying with the idea, it does force me to do a hit in the not too distant future. Yeah, it's a difficult one. Probably sensible move is to roll the free transfer, start Nunez against Newcastle, hope he plays, and then I have him for a Bournemouth game as well, and then move on Son and Salah, who I know are guaranteed not to play game week 21, and get some interesting options for both of them. Thing with Alvarez is we don't know how long term an option he is. Depends on how long. When does KDB come back, and it also depends when does Haaland come back, right? So with both of them back, does he start? I don't know, right? So
Under Pep roulette, he'll miss minutes. I know early on in the season he was playing, but again, as you say, De Bruyne was out, so
yeah, he was playing as 10, wasn't he? He was playing as the number 10, right? So yeah. I mean, yeah, short term is great, but it does feel like one with a limited lifespan at the moment. So yeah, still considering that as an option. It is an option for me, but one I would go if I had 2 free transfers. I'd just do that short term move because it's always nice having the best captaincy option every week, right? And he certainly is the best one here. But I think Salah and Son, they're kind of good options too, right? So it's not like they're shit. So
yeah. Well, just on Alvarez. So you were talking a minute ago about going into game weeks, not even worrying about Saka, and I'm gonna live to regret this, but I'm just gonna read Alvarez's scores since game week 10. And but he started every single game, by the way. It's not like he's come off the bench. 2-2-5, 2-5, 2-5, 2-8. He scored in that time 1 goal, and it was a penalty. I'm not panicking about not having him, and I know I'm gonna regret that. He's gonna bang a brace.
The thing is, his underlying stats have been quite good. So he's been, well, recently, not over that period. I think he's been poor over the period, but like the last 2 game weeks in particular, when there's been a better formed Man City team, right? With the likes of Rodri and whatnot kind of playing. Yeah, he's been okay. I'm just trying to bring it up now. I was looking at. So yeah, expected goal involvement last game week, 1.7. Palace, not so great, 0.23. Luton, 0.77. Spurs, 1.07. So his underlying stats have been okay the last couple of game weeks, right? I mean, he had that period early in the season when everyone owned him, and he was just like, anytime he touched the ball, you'd get an assist or a goal from a great free kick, right? So we know he can finish.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I still. So if you had him, Salah and Son, who would you captain?
Him.
Yeah, exactly. He's the best.
Purely playing the fixture.
But like, it's risky
Surely,
when you don't have 2 free transfers, which gives you that buffer and that luxury to still move on. Those 2 premium mids when they go to the Asian Cup and the AFCON.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm with you. Well, so you're on because you don't have him. You're on Salah.
Yeah,
If you go Maverick and bring him in, you'll be on Alvarez.
Yep.
I don't think I'm going to go Manic. I'm probably going to. We'll come on to what I'm going to do, but I can't see a way of that. I get Alvarez in. Of those 3 that I've just mentioned, so Son, Salah, Watkins, just to help people make that decision, just in case people are rumming and ahhing. Expected goal involvement at home this season for those 3 players, right? Salah is miles ahead. Expected goal involvement of 11.4. Watkins is second, 6.97. So over 4 behind him. Son is on 6.72. You then look at the expected goals conceded, who they're playing. So the worst defence is technically Bournemouth, so that's who Son's got, 17.85, then Burnley at 16.8, and then Newcastle at 15.4. But the last 4 game weeks, Bournemouth away from home, right? Expected goals conceded away from home, the last 4, 0.75, 1.16, 0.84, 0.81. So they've obviously gone on this winning run. Their defence has clearly got better during that time.
The
And I
fixtures got
mentioned
better
before,
as well.
Newcastle's, which
The fixtures have got better as well, which kind of does.
that does help.
Yeah.
That does help. And so I appreciate Spurs are a different kettle of fish. But then the Toon, 1.88, 3.88, 3.23, 2.49. And and we could say it was their fixtures, but it hasn't been their fixtures. They got beat 2-0 by Bournemouth. They got beat 3-1 by Forest. They got beat 3-0 by Everton. Everton are a good side, don't get me wrong, but I don't feel like that's a fixture thing.
Salah, who's he playing against? He's playing against Trippier, isn't he? But
He'll be playing against their left back, so it'll be Dan Burn. No, Trippier, obviously, left back, who's making mistakes.
Well, but both of them, both of them, you'd think that matchup would be pretty favourable. So, Salah's a lot more reliable than Son. Has more routes to a goal, plays for a better attacking team, and I think Bournemouth at the moment, the Bournemouth defense is comparable with the Newcastle one. It's crazy how things move quite quickly. So I'm on Salah. I mean,
Salah.
Watkins. I mean, this is a game where Watkins could get his random 20 points that he does. He always quite streaky. I know you were texting me, but game week 18 against Sheffield United, man, he was unlucky. Well, he could have got an assist at least for.
Yeah.
I would capture him with that with so many emotions.
I know.
Well, didn't you? Yeah.
Adam, 9 points, 9 points, 9 points. Best player on the pitch, 9 points. Oh, there's a Sheffield United goal, down to 2, and then he'll get booked, down to 1 in the space of about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Painful.
But all sorts of emotions. Like, would he start? Would he not? He starts. For the first half, he was actually probably the worst player for Villa because he was quite sloppy in possession and whatnot. Then, come second half, he was whipping in the chances.
Yeah. I don't know what his expected assist data is, but I imagine it'd be pretty good. I'll
About
look it up.
25, wasn't it?
Yeah,
But Watkins was
um,
on. Yeah, that was frustrating as a Watkins, as a captaincy because he's scored the most goals at home. I think he still has, right? But he's just too
yeah.
streaky, and
Well,
Douglas Luiz being on pens is a big influencing factor, right? You do
yeah,
want that
yeah.
security blanket.
Yeah, no. Yeah, well, just in case anybody is thinking of Watkins, Burnley's expected goals conceded the last 4 away games: 1.38, 2.72, 0.83, and 2.03. So not a
Nice.
bad option.
Yeah.
Not a bad option at all. But I think I'm with you. I'm on Salah. If I go Meany, I can bring Alvarez in. I'll captain him, but I don't see it, if I'm honest. Okay, on to questions for Matt. I don't think we did this last time, so that looks like a lot because it is. We've got 2 weeks to get through. So I'll try not to take too much of your time with these. I'll fire them at you. But big shout out to the submissions for those that I have. So Joey P, first up. Thoughts on benching Salah throughout AFCON if your other 7 attackers are strong? He's trying he mentioned a bit more on the question. Basically, he's got about 0.4, 0.5 million worth of value in him, and he's worried about it. So, what are your thoughts on benching him if your other 7 attackers are good?
Well, I think a lot of people have got a lot of value in him. I think I'm the same. You're probably the same as well. Depends if he goes down in price, right? Haaland has gone down from 80% ownership to 50% ownership and dropped 0.1, right? So we'll see how the price trades algorithm treats Salah. Yeah, I guess it really depends how strong your other 7 attackers are, first and foremost, and are they going to play every game? And there is a scenario where, so yeah, if you're covered, if you've got Saka, if you've got Bowen, if you've got Richarlison, if you've got all these great options for that kind of period, game week 21 to 23, 24, then yeah, maybe. But there is a scenario, of course, where Salah isn't really an option until game week 30, right? There's you could miss up to game week 25, and then there could be a blank game week. There could be 2 blank game weeks for Liverpool, right? So there's a scenario where we don't really need him for a while. So yeah, I think it's really team dependent, but I wouldn't be worried about losing value because everyone else is in the same scenario, really. And still,
Yeah,
there's a lot of value in the game, right? We've got very cheap starting keepers, I'm double up on the Arsenal defense. One sleeve is 5.5, Gabriel's 5. I could be getting the same amount of value from a 4.0 defender in Gusto, right? So I would still think there's value. So I wouldn't worry about losing that value. I'm not going to dictate whether benching Salah or not is a wise decision. There's team dependent, but I think you need a good team to make it work for you. What I would say, glad Son versus Salah, I'd sell Son.
yeah.
Because I actually don't think you'd need him
Yeah.
post Asian Cup.
I'll have before I move on to LFC Clover's question. I believe Richarlison scored twice.
Yeah, I'm on the Arsenal game, which is not a great
He
watch
scored
because
twice, and they're both offside, mate. They were both offside.
oh fuck.
So and you know what? Just to thank us for scoring 2 offside goals, he's also got himself booked.
Oh mate. Oh, Brighton scored a third, so at least Porro's on for a
Yeah,
0-pointer.
Estupinan got the goal, I
He's
believe.
back.
Yeah, he's back.
Well, he could be an option actually. Brighton were quite high on the defensive stats, and we know defensively they're bad, but Estupinan was a bit of a legend, wasn't he? First 4 game weeks.
Goal. Yeah, but 2 offside goals for Charles. Showing he's at least getting in the spots right. But LFC Clover 99. Who are you selling for Haaland when it comes to buying him back? You've kind of touched on this already. From the looks of it, it's going to be Darwin.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go. Nice and easy. Already answered it.
I mean, yeah, Liverpool's fixtures are changing. I think my current route at the moment is Haaland in game week 22. We'll see what happens, but yeah, I think that kind of works out, which means I can have Darwin for the Newcastle home game, which is okay, and the Bournemouth away, which is an okay game, and then I can bid him farewell really, and not really have any
happily.
regrets really. It's a minutes thing, and like it'll be a bit good riddance to be honest, because first I got him in game week 8. The first couple of game weeks were really good because his stats were looking incredible. They've really trailed off. His aggregate stats are really good, but it's really earlier performances in the season that are really holding those up. So yeah, minute security, lack of set pieces of any sort, and we know he's just like he's not a prolific clinical finisher. Yeah, be Nunes kind of going out. I mean, Watkins is an interesting. It's just Watkins I'd be keeping just because he does regularly score. He does have good underlying stats, and Villa do have a nice fixture run coming up, and then Solanke mixed fixtures for Bournemouth, but very good value, and he's got a double game week coming sometime soon, right? Hopefully it'll be sooner rather than later, but like I'm not moving him on. I want those 9 points back that he was
Absolutely.
due. I'm gonna get that and then some.
Absolutely, I'm with you. It's I think I'll be selling Darwin. I'm as a Liverpool fan, I feel no remorse. Get rid. Long-time supporter and fan. Fan? It's probably not the word I'm looking for. Long-time supporter will do. FPL Brandon submitted us a question. It can be a fan if you want, Brandon. Feel free, but we appreciate all your support. You've reposted for us many times, so thank you for that. Kind of threw 2 questions in. The first one's been answered by Pep, as opposed to yourself. Haaland worth a hit for game week 20? Well, obviously not, because he's not going to be playing. I'll refresh it. Is Alvarez worth a hit for game week 20? And then also bench 1, Darwin at home to Newcastle or Palmer away at Luton?
Alvarez isn't worth a hit, no. Like Haaland probably was worth a hit just because his captaincy. This is the only time I play the ownership game is when there's a real standout captaincy option who's the best by far, and their effective ownership would be like 200%, which would have been Haaland, right? And yeah, getting in Haaland, he's a long-term stick, right? Because you have double game weeks coming up, and yeah, he'll be starting most games when he's fit, right? But Alvarez, he's got that rotation risk. The question is Alvarez worth 1 free transfer? I think that's a real toss-up. Yeah. Maybe not. I'm just squeezing into maybe not. If you had 2 free transfers, he's worth a move for if you have 2 free transfers, yeah. And then bench 1, Darwin or Palmer. I'd say Darwin on that one, just because Palmer I think is got better odds of starting and finishing the game, and yeah, he's on pens really. So yeah, Nunes I think will start, but I think less confidence than what I've got for Palmer, and I think. Even with Nkunku back, I think where he would come into the starting lineup is probably as the striker. And there'll be a bit of fluid rotation from the front 3, front 4, right? So I think Palmer will be playing either as a 10 or a winger. Like he's done enough. He's been their best attacker this season, right? So yeah, Palmer for me.
Think he'll keep pins, or do you think Nkunku will get him?
Sorry?
Do you think Palmer will keep the pens, or do you think Nkunku might get them?
Well, Nkunku didn't score. It was someone else who scored on the weekend, wasn't it? Who scored? It wasn't Nkunku.
They had a pen as well, didn't they? It was the guy who got fouled. So yeah, good point. There you go. That answers the question. Casado?
Madueke. So yeah, I don't think he'll play. Madueke will come on as a sub, right? So like, yeah, it's Palmer's to loot, and he's not going to start games because Palmer is going to be playing. Or Mudryk will be playing, or Sterling will be playing, right? So yeah, he's starting games. So yeah, Palmer's got to be on pens, surely, given he's scored so many and not missed any. So yeah, it's his to lose, right?
I think Nkunku got subbed off in the 70th minute and the pen came after it. But I agree. I think it'll still be Palmer. It'd be stupid. I mean, he scored every single one he's took. Why would you take him off it? Right?
I'm glad Brandon asked that. When they play it as well, I know like this is what you see in games, which sometimes the stats are better. But like when he's playing, he's the most confident and main person going in. So it's not like he's acting as a junior player. I mean, Nkunku's the man, right? The big money purchasing the man. Like I think Palmer's the man. He took the ball off Sterling, didn't he? For God's sake, to,
Yeah,
to take
yeah,
penalties.
yeah.
Yeah, I'd be
I'm with
playing
it.
Palmer every day of the week over Darwin and give him those fixtures. Yeah.
And then an interesting one next. So Harit Prakash, I might have mispronounced that because I can't even say players' names, as you'll have found out. But the question's on influence of social media and Twitter, specifically on holding on to highly owned players through poor form. So, do you pay attention? You kind of mentioned before a little bit about effective ownership. So, if you see a lot of Twitter teams posted and they've got like Saka, prime example, he's going through poor form, he's not doing anything.
Mm.
Would you be holding on to him because you're seeing a lot of influence on Twitter to say you should, or do you just play your own game and would you be happy to sell?
Well, yeah, I play my own game, right? I think, but like people complain about the template, but there's like highly owned players for a reason, right? Because they're good players for good teams with good fixtures, right? So I'm never one to. Brighton got penalty now, by the way, so it could be 4. It could be 4-0 incoming.
It'll do. That's my bet coming in.
Yeah, I kind of wish you well on that, but yeah, I never fight the template. Some people want to go Maverick for the sake of it. I've seen people who've had bad starts to seasons really try and just be really random with low own players. We'll see what happens, but I'm going to take the route where I'm just grinding, like picking sensible options, right?
Yeah,
I don't care about ownership, so yeah, I went Darwin over Saka on wildcard because I thought like, yeah, Liverpool attack was looking better and looking hot. I reckon he was going to be starting most game weeks, and that happened, right? But he didn't deliver on his underlying stats. So if I was afraid around ownership, I would have gone for Saka. I think there is quite a lot of influence, to be honest, on highly owned players. But like in the example of Saka, he's got mixed form. I wouldn't say he's poor. He's been getting returns, right? So he's got okay form, but it's a lack of other options, right? And there's been other fires to fight, right? So
yeah,
if I
yeah,
had Saka, would I have got rid of him? No, because he's got good fixtures and like he's potentially a set piece taker for an attacking team. So yeah, I'm just trying to think if there's any examples of people holding because of ownership. It's been really bad.
good question. Like from the big names.
I
Pedro
can't
again.
think. I can't
My
think
head.
of. I can't think of many. But I think yeah, people
Bruno,
people
maybe Rashford.
yeah, Rashford. But I think that was influenced by fixtures, right? Because Man United had good fixtures, so people kept Rashford, people kept Fernandez, people kept the likes of what's his name, Jackson, because they had good fixtures. So I mean,
Yeah,
sometimes the reason why people hold on to players through poor form is sensible. It's because they got good underlying stats and good fixtures. But I think influence, like there is definitely a influence of ownership through poor
yeah,
form for sure. Um,
yeah, yeah.
like
I get
Almiron was
that.
an example from last year, right? That he had
Yeah,
a purple patch where he was scoring everything he touched, and then yeah, people kept holding him like for too long because his ownership was high and yeah, people were influenced by other people. I guess to a lesser extent, Alvarez is an example this season, right? Is that he's had a really poor form. His ownership is still pretty high now. Um,
yeah,
Obviously, an owner would be stupid to get rid of them now because he's got good fixtures coming up and whatnot, right? But people held him for too long because he scored some historic points and then his ownership was high. So um, yeah, I think it does have an influence. I mean, personally, yeah, I don't really outside of as I've mentioned earlier, a clear cut captaincy option. I don't really care about ownership at all,
yeah,
and that
yeah,
goes
yeah.
both ways. Some
So
people are snobs, aren't they? Some people are like, "Oh, template.
yeah,
That's a
yeah, yeah.
template move."
Just get the big names, but as you said, they sometimes or usually go hand in hand anyway.
Hmm.
They're
Yeah,
the big owners for a reason. Uh, Pedro's got 16 points, so 9.2% owned. If anybody is listening has got him, well done. Hopefully you captained him. He's absolutely storming it. Still 20 minutes to go. Just so you know, I've got a bet on 3.5 plus, which has come in. I've also got a bet on 4.5 plus and 5.5 plus. So more goals, please, Matt. Keep me posted. Transfer question of the week comes from FPL Cruyff. Probably not one for this week now. Wrote this yesterday before Pedro, before the question. Not before the question, before the City manager, can't think of Pep, decided to tell us Haaland isn't fit. But if this was coming in game week 22, I'm going to say FPL Cruyff's going to hit the same problem anyway. Would you rather have Haaland, Richarlison, and a £5 million defender, or a Haaland, Garnacho, and a Trent?
Ooh, that is a good question, that. So yeah, Haaland, like as you've written it, Haaland and Richarlison, or Haaland and Garnacho. That's Richarlison versus Garnacho, which is Richarlison, obviously, right?
Yeah,
Obviously, the latter allowing funds for Trent. Ooh,
that's when it's tricky.
that's tight, isn't it?
So, so yeah, so but I mean, it's what's the difference in price there? About 1.5 million. So you can probably bring in a 5.5 million pound defender. So what, Richarlison and Walker against Garnacho and Trent.
Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, I probably.
Doesn't have to be Walker, by the way. That's just my pick.
I think with double game weeks coming, I'd probably go the former. Haaland, Richarlison, and insert incoming double game week defender of choice, which could be
Yeah,
Senesi from Bournemouth, who's been, like you've mentioned him a few game weeks ago, he's getting like attacking returns. Doughty, or whatever his name is, Doughty from Luton, he's an attacking defender.
yeah,
A Walker, yeah, I'd go that option. Really, I think Garnacho is definitely a flash in the pan. I want to see more than half a
yeah,
one half of football.
yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, there you go. I think that problem will come up anyway, so worth addressing. On to what is going to be my least favourite part of the week. It's Matt versus Dave. Um, Before the game even kicked off, you had one player play, Bernardo Silva, with 13 points, with a goal and an assist. I had Dan Burn at home to Nottingham Forest, decided to go off before the 60-minute mark, having already conceded 2 goals, ended up with 0 points for what I thought was going to be a guaranteed clean sheet. And then Nkunku started, as I knew he would, with the Sterling and Palmer missing the game. 0.19 or something expected goal involvement. So didn't really do much and got 2 points. So both my players 2 points, which I think is possibly the worst with one of us have scored doing this. And you've got 13 points with Gross on top. I don't know whether Gross has got any of the assists for the four
Oh, he's just got
Brighton
3 points
goals,
at the
but
moment. I think I
three
was debating
points.
João Pedro. I was thinking, João Pedro or Gross. I've gone for the wrong option there.
It's too
But
he's too highly owned, Pedro. He's
oh yeah, yeah,
9%. But I've put the Gross. Who cares? Because you've won. Unless something happened dramatically and Gross got a -11, which I
What,
don't think
red
is
card from
possible
own
for a
goals? Yeah,
midfielder.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't, well, yeah, I suppose own goals. Yeah, you won handsomely this week, so it's now 7-6 to me. On to game week 20, even game week, so I get to pick first. And everything in me is telling me that I want to go for Bernardo Silva, but it's like everybody. We're gonna have to make some rule because I think I've picked him twice. You picked him once. We don't want it to get boring and just pick Bernardo Silva every week. Whoever gets to go first. But he's at home to Sheffield United. He's 3.6% owned. He's returned 7 in his last 9. I can't not go with Bernardo Silva.
No, I agree. I respect and I back that decision. I back that decision for sure. So I have to think of who I can get in now. Yeah, that's a good option. Um, mm, 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 mm.
Forced into it.
I'll look at some Chelsea are just a weird team, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah. Very hit and miss.
Yeah, definitely. Also, Nkunku's ownership
2 point something, I believe.
Okay, he's an interesting option. Well, I might go. A Villa player could be interesting, given the
Oh,
amount
Tottenham has
of.
scored.
I can't make out who's actually scored.
Veliz, apparently. Whoever that is. Son
Oh,
assist.
yeah, Son assist. Yeah.
One more goal, Matt. That's all my bets in. One more goal. Let's go.
No, well done. Well done. You are looking. I'm going to go Leon Bailey.
Leon Bailey.
Yeah.
Bailey is in. I think you had him a couple of weeks ago when they played Sheffield United, but Villa didn't show up. So we'll see how he gets on. What percent is he? So he must be just shy of 5.
Didn't have a look actually. She was Villa. Bailey is 3.4%.
3.4. Yeah, I think he's a good pick. Good fixture. Seems to be getting the starts
Yeah.
and is getting attacking returns. I'm then between 2 for my second. Prior to the game that's going on now, where Brighton are 4-1 up, I was going to pick somebody that is playing Brighton. Stupid being. I mean, they haven't kept a clean sheet in 23 games, which tells me that that they're probably going to concede, and they're away at West Ham. Paqueta has got 4 assists in his last 2 games.
Okay.
So it's him or Elise, right? I'm going to give you a 2 because
What about
you can
Kudos?
steal the other one.
He's on form. Part in
Who?
Preston. Kudos.
He's well over 5%. Well
Oh, is
over
he?
5% owned. Yeah, I've got no chance.
I,
Bowen's
I,
over. I'll take Bowen. No, I can't. Elise's got 3 returns in his last 3 and looks to be on pens. And he is at home to Brentford. And Brentford have just conceded 4 in the last game, right?
yeah.
I think I've just talked myself into Elise because of the pens. I'm going to take Elise.
Ah, look who had up on my phone. It's the next option.
But take Paqueta if you want him.
I think I'll go Nkunku.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Nkunku. So
Well,
we've got
I think
Bernardo
Pedro Porro
Silva
just
and Elise.
assisted.
Is that again?
I think Pedro Porro just assisted.
Another. It's a 5-1.
It's 4-2. Yaz
Oh,
as well.
sorry. Pedro Porro. I had
Oh no.
lucky to avoid red card. Ben Davies with the goal. Interesting. I mean, he can't be getting bonus points, Matt. So I like, and he'll be on -2 for conceding 4. So
I
there's
think
no
it'd
haul.
be -1, but yeah.
It's just
What a
-1.
shame.
So 4-2. Ben Davies with a goal, eh?
It does help
Interesting.
when you have these defenders to take corners, though, doesn't it? Like it's the same with Trippier. It really does. Just increase the chances of any sort of return.
What a game, 4-2. I said to you before we started recording this, if anybody listens or reads Jones Knows on Sky Sports, other tipsters are available. They're not paying us for this. If they want to pay us, Sky Sports, please get in touch. But Jones Knows said that this game would be 4-4. He's not far off.
No,
So
still a
fair
chance.
play. There is
Still
still
a
a
chance.
chance. But yeah, the game week 20 pick, Bernardo Silva and Lise for me against Bailey and Nkunku for you. We will get back on next week to see how we got on. On to reveals, I guess, or our thoughts on what we're going to do. And I'm kind of preset myself into the role. I think I'm looking at my options. I've got 1 free transfer, 3.1 in the bank. If Haaland was starting, I'd have took a hit and I'd have bought him back, no question. I'd have got rid of Son early or Salah early, either or. I'd have probably got rid of Salah if I'm honest. which sounds stupid considering I'm captain him over Son, but I don't have to make that decision anymore. So I'm sat in the position where Haaland isn't fit. I'm struggling to know which of my 8 attackers to play. At the minute, I've got Palmer on the bench, which is why I was happy Brandon asked the question and your thoughts on Darwin versus Palmer there. So I'll consider that. But yeah, I'm struggling with my 8. The defence is fine. I've got my 2 Arsenal defenders. I think away at Fulham, they'll find a way to concede, but there's no
Yeah.
defender jumping out on me for this game week. And I bought Walker in for this game week,
Mm-hmm.
so he's in. He's starting. I've gone for Areola over Dubravka. I don't expect either of them to keep a clean sheet, if I'm honest. But I think West Ham at home against Brighton's a better option than away at Liverpool. Um, so just for those watching, you can see it. For those listening, very quickly, Areola in goal away, home to Brighton, Walker at home to Sheffield United, Gabriel and Saliba away at Fulham. Across the midfield, I've got Richarlison and Son, both at home to Bournemouth, Saka away at Fulham, and then captaining currently Salah at home to Newcastle. And then up top, Darwin at home to Newcastle, Watkins at home to Burnley, and Solanke away at Tottenham. I've been stung by the penalty takers before. I benched Solanke against Newcastle, and he decided to score twice. I think I'm going to bring Palmer on for Darwin Nunes, and Darwin will be my first bench. But kind of future considerations, I'm quite happy with the defense. I'm still not overly happy with the defense. I'm happy that I've got Walker in instead of Lascelles, gives me another option, but Pep Roulette does concern me. I need to get rid of Cash and bring in a 90-minute man. That's what I need to do at some point. But game week 21 is obviously going to be dominated by selling Son and Salah. But I don't want to then price myself out of getting Salah back. And I've got ways and means I can do it, which also then gets rid of my headache of which of my 8 attackers. So in my mind, at the minute, I'm selling Salah,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm bringing in Bowen. I'm then probably going to sell Son for a 4.6 million pound midfielder that'll just sit on my bench, and then I'll have the money
Garnacho.
there. I'm not going to bring Garnacho.
Mm.
There's a guy, McAtee, is he? Plays for. He's on
Oh
loan from
yeah,
Man
yeah, yeah,
City.
yeah.
He's popping up with a couple of
Mm-hmm.
goals. He's 4.4 million. So I might look at him. Just purely for the money.
Yeah.
It gives me an option then back to salary easily. It'll give me plenty of money to get Haaland back easily, all in one move. So I might do that, or I might look at the fixtures. If we get told it's a double game week in game week 21, then it'll be Salah to Bowen,
Mm-hmm.
Son to a City midfielder.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
So that's where I'm looking. Slate it, love it, whatever you think.
Yeah, obviously start Palmer over Richarlison or Darwin Nunes.
Of
That's
Richarlison,
well, he's come off on this week. He's come off. He must have come off about 60 minutes.
did
I
he?
wasn't paying. I was I was watching the Arsenal game when he came off, but yeah, he's not playing now. So his minutes are being managed, right? So that makes a big difference
Yeah.
over the course of the game, right?
Six, yeah.
If he's like playing 40 minutes less than other options. So yeah, Richarlison or Darwin, you've got to be bench for Palmer for sure. Yeah, I think roll the option there is Darwin to Alvarez or roll. I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, if I did do that, it gives me more of a headache. Darwin for me is the easy bench option over Palmer. If I bring in Alvarez,
Yeah,
I don't want to
exactly.
bench Richarlison.
Exactly that. Exactly that. I think that's like one of the things you have to consider when you're making these sort of transfers.
Yeah, there's nobody else there that I look at and go, I want to bench you.
Yeah.
I don't particularly want to bench Darwin. He scored twice against Newcastle earlier in the season. Newcastle could very easily be just one of those teams Darwin loves playing against. So I'm not overly keen on benching him, but he doesn't have the pens Palmer does. So I get that logic.
Yeah, I think some of
Okay.
the models would probably suggest benching, Solanke, but I wouldn't be benching anyone against Spurs.
Should have been
They've
them.
been
What
lucky
they
to
conceded
concede.
for.
They've been lucky to concede. Well, no one's lucky to concede 4, but they've deserved to concede those 4 goals tonight.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when they've had
And
clean sheets
Solanke is
recently,
on
they've
form.
jammed it. Like he can, he's on hot form. He's looking very
Yeah.
good. So
I'll be putting him nowhere. But then yours. So rolling into game week 20, one transfer. What are you looking to do?
yeah, so my team looking quite similar to yours. Areola in goal. The reasons you mentioned. Just think West Ham against Brighton have a slightly better chance than Newcastle away at Liverpool to keep a clean sheet. And then, Trent, Saliba, Gabriel. Again, I'm not feeling great about that double Arsenal defence, but let's see what happens. I'm starting Palmer, Richarlison, Son, Salah's captain, Darwin, Watkins, and Solanke up front. And I've got the easy option of benching Gordon. I'll probably keep my bench order the same actually, just in case Cash doesn't play. But Cash is you could say he's a good starting option if he does play against Burnley, but I don't think there's too much risk there. For me, I've got a couple of moves that could be good. So I could move Gordon to Saka. But then that means me benching Darwin, which isn't a bad option, or Palmer, which or Richarlison, which I think they're all acceptable options over. Obviously, when you roll a transfer, you've got so much more flexibility going into another week. So I do value that. I could, of course, move Cash to a Man City defender. Diaz or Walker probably the best ones options. Walker probably being slightly better. Again, I don't need like Walker. I'd be benching Gabriel, Saliba, and I think they're okay options, right? So it's marginal gains there. So the thing that we haven't put there that we've discussed throughout this pod is Alvarez, who I think is the best captaincy option by quite a margin. This game week, I could just get rid of Darwin for one game week, but it kind of forces me into a hit in the coming game weeks, and it really does require Alvarez to hit it. And there's a real risk there, right? Salah could get double-digit returns easy, and Alvarez could blank. You said he's blanked. He's played 90 minutes and started as a striker. In the last 10 game weeks, he's only had one goal. And like Sheffield United, they can, it is cliched, but they can dig deep against good teams like they did against Villa.
Recent, exactly that. 1-1 against Villa.
And they do look slightly better as well. They do look tighter the last couple of game weeks since the changing manager as well. So like you would be gutted if you made that move. So I think for me it's probably rolling and then having the maximum flexibility to bring in the best two options for Son and Salah. And I kind of need to make those two options work because I've got Gordon, who isn't a great option for the next 3 game weeks, right? So I'll probably roll and move Son and Salah to some great players, and then general transfer planning. Other than moving those two options, it's like let's think about City assets, Brentford assets, Bournemouth and Luton assets, just because we know that they're owed an extra game week coming up, right? So it could be 25, it could be game week 29, I think, but like in the not too distant future, they could and should have a double game week coming up. So I certainly won't be moving on the likes of Solanke, and I certainly will be trying to target some of these teams. So probably roll. Alvarez will be the temptation though.
Yeah. So keep an eye on your post on your Twitter at about 10 o'clock Saturday morning.
Don't read it and don't read into too much what I say. Most of the stuff is a piss take.
Watch him come in. You're buying Alvarez and you're taking a hit for Foden. I see what you're doing. Bring in them all. But yeah, I think with that team you've got, if you do roll, I thought we were getting separate teams. I thought we were going away from separate teams, but it'll be Saka and Walker against the 2 Liverpool lads, Trent and Darwin. And the rest of our team will pretty much be the same. We didn't talk about Diaz and Walker when I bought Walker in, so I'm glad that you see it as an option for yourself. That's how I benchmark my transfers. If Matt thinks it's a good transfer, I'm going in the right direction, Matt.
Well, I think, to be honest, the Stones injuries benefited you. I don't think it was as good an option when you did it because Stones was.
I knew he was getting injured. I could see it coming. Yeah, I knew that was happening.
but yeah, if you brought, I think the logic there was actually Man City defense on a good run. Well, not a good run, a good fixture run, so that the form should follow, and they should have a double game week, right? So that's why I think they're a good option. But Walker is definitely like his value for me is bumped up because of the Stones injury. So
yeah,
I think you got a bit lucky there. But no, obviously as a
all
dedicated
skill.
FPL player, you know his injury records. So yeah, you obviously
That's it.
had
That's
that
it.
back
I
in your
mean,
mind.
I knew. I was like, this guy's worse than Reece James. He's gonna, there'll be an injury left, right, and centre. Are you a darts fan by any chance, Matt?
A casual fan.
Yeah, when Price is out,
Oh, man.
I'm a big. I don't like Gerwin Price. I'm quite happy to see
He's
him
a big
go.
lad, isn't
I
he?
I know he's. Yeah, I know he's your Welsh contingent, but the guy is just horrible to watch on the hockey. Um, but yeah, he's been done by
He's a
Dolan.
bit of a pantomime villain, isn't he? Doing like the
Yeah,
shushes and everything. Yeah,
yeah. And then that Luke Humphreys, the lad, the 16-year-old that looks about 30. He's playing at the minute, so we'll see how he gets on. It's not a dart. This isn't a dart chat anyway. We'll move on. We'll move on from that. But the chances are you're going to roll and then deal with the Son and Salah situation with 2 transfers in your
I
back
think so.
pocket
Yeah, I think so.
from next week. Well, that is all we've got time for. So nice to be back, though, right?
Really,
we're
yeah,
the first time we've done this, and we missed a game week, so nice to get back on it.
exactly. And next time there won't be any. Hopefully, there won't be any matches on whilst we're playing because I've got a really bad attention span and I've definitely been missing some of the stuff you've been saying and stopping mid sentence because I don't know.
It was my
Torren's got the
fault.
ball.
Just for the listeners, that was my fault. I couldn't do tomorrow, and then the games kick off at 12:30 on just the next day. So it was today or yeah, I don't want to either because I've had 5 players play and all I've had is an assist. So I don't want to do it live because I feel it brings bad luck. So we'll do the next one next week, and then there's a bit of a break from this game week because of the FA Cup. So we'll probably end up, if you've got the both weeks free, Matt, we'll probably do one where we do the review of game week 20, and then a week later, what we're going to do ahead of game week 21. So 2 shorter ones for the listeners. But yeah, one, as I say, reviewing the most recent game week, and then one looking ahead. It's 2-0 West Ham, by the way.
Yeah, I just saw that. I was like,
Wasn't
I was
Bowen, was it?
dreading. Yeah, I was dreading. Yeah, the Spurs one's finished at 4-2. So I was dreading like logging into this one now and seeing Arsenal with like 3 goals, and it's like, Saka's involvement. But
It's not
it'd be
Bowen.
interesting to see the underlying stats on the Arsenal defense in this game because like when I was watching it first half, they were looking a bit. They weren't conceding many chances because of possession, but they were looking shaky every time West Ham went wide and crossed it in. It's a tough one. It's annoying when you go for these statistically good defenses and then
Yeah.
just whenever they do concede a chance, they're conceding a goal.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
You got the
it
2
was
worst ones for that. You got Walker
Mavropanos.
now. You got Walker and as well as Gabriel and Salah.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's because Matt, statistically, they are the best defenses in the league. But whether that happens is a different
yeah,
matter. But here's something for you. The Gabriel's on for a bonus point, despite conceding twice.
really.
Yeah, he's on for one for bonus points ahead of Bowen.
Now, this is
Bowen didn't get an
this is
assist or
return. The
goal.
last couple of game weeks, there's justice for Gabriel after missing that game week 1 benching.
Yeah,
This is his. He's back to his original price point as well. He's back to 5 million.
yeah. But
So,
this is the problem. It's not been 60 minutes yet. So once it hits 60 minutes and that clean sheet comes in for West
yeah,
Ham,
it goes to West Ham.
Gabriel will not be getting bonus points. He'll be straight out.
Yeah, it'll go straight to. Well, Ariola's getting a haul, isn't he? I don't even know if he's playing. If it's Fabianski or it looks like Ariola.
Good question. No, it's Ariola. Ariola's playing, but he hasn't got any saves. 2,
No,
sorry. He saved 2. So no bonus points for the saves yet. I fancy Arsenal to get a goal there. 2-1, 2-2, I'm going to say. All that money I've
Nice
just
for
won on the
Martinelli
Spurs
to score.
goals.
He's a nice player, isn't he,
Saka.
Martinelli? It'd be nice for
Saka
Martinelli.
brace. Yeah.
He ain't scoring ever again. This guy.
Saka brace. But yeah, thanks for your time as always, Matt. Much obliged here. I agree.
Yeah.
Next one we'll do without any games playing or games that we're not too bothered about, not invested in for FPL reasons like we have with Europe and so on and so forth. But yeah, it'd be cool
Let's
to
do
see if you do bring.
Let's do Wolves against Fulham or something like that.
I'll do something that we've got no players involved in. That works fine for me. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see if you do bring in Alvarez. Be interesting to see if you do bring in Foden for that hit that you never mentioned. And I'll look out for your team on Saturday morning. But whatever you decide to do, Matt, I wish you the best of luck with it. And yeah,
that's
I'll catch up with you next
that's
week.
a nice note. That's a nice note. I wish you the same as well.
Well, thank you very much. And to you, the listener, we wish you the best of luck too. Whatever you decide to do, whether you've got Alvarez already, you're going to captain him, bring him in, or you're just going to keep the role. I prefer it if you keep the role and he doesn't haul. But either way, I wish you luck. But hopefully, we'll catch up with you next week too. May your arrows be green, and we'll speak to you then.